Morning has broken. Hello, everyone. Hello. Sorry, it's a late one. Nadia is in the other room, as you can probably see from the thumbnail, having her hair done by the lovely Simone. And I have been working, so I just managed to find 20 minutes to have a brief catch up with you guys. There's not an awful lot of news knocking about actually this morning, but how are we all? Leor, how are you? Caitlin's World, April Hill, Michelle W., Ramona Soroldi, Deborah Learmouth, Lola Quirolo, Alison Travers, Glitter Knickers, Rebecca Duke, Donna Carkett, Faith Goodman, Steph Coleman, Lee. Hello, Lee. Nadia is in the other room at the moment having her roots done. Before we do some more, we've got lots more book promotion today. I can't find a copy of the book. Every time I bring it out, it's like it blinds myself. I blind myself. So yeah, just thought I'd quickly do a little catch up. We're doing a night shift tonight. Yeah, we haven't done one of those for a while. We're going to do a night shift tonight. And I just thought I'd do a little show. Now, we're constantly hunting around for good news, aren't we? We're constantly hunting around for good news. And because of the news gatherers, we rarely find it. And I found some good news. So the top trending story at the moment in the news is good news for vaccine, is that coronavirus antibodies are lasting longer than scientists thought. This is what John Campbell reported about, or was talking about a week ago. There's Toffee flaked out and watching. John Campbell has been, and I'm using Nadia's glasses as an Alice band until Simone then cuts all my hair off. So this is something that John Campbell was talking about, and it's taken about 4 days for it to trickle through. And I think, you know what I think's happened with news gatherers? I think they've begun to realise that people are weary of the relentless negativity in the face of ever diminishing numbers of, statistics of deaths. I think people have finally cottoned onto the fact that cases are going up because we're testing more. It's not rocket science, is it? Let's face it. But this Tuesday's report from tests on more than 30,000 people in Iceland is the most extensive. Oh, well, maybe this is a new test, a new study. It's good news. If a vaccine can spur production, let's just quickly pull it up. The country, Iceland, has tested 15% of its population since late February. And what they've discovered is that basically we hold on to antibodies for longer than we originally thought. We can hold on to them for at least 4 months, and they do not fade as quickly as many earlier reports said, which is fabulous news, which means if we could get everyone antibody tested, things could shift in quite a considerable fashion. But it just strikes me as important. Maybe we're going to start to see a shift in news flow. Maybe we're going to start to see positive news stories about coronavirus. Who knows? Rather than the constant relentless. In fact, it was really funny. We were driving home the other day, and the radio presenter on, I think it was BBC Radio, said something like that, today's casualties are, and he tried to give it such dramatic importance. And of course, the statistic is important to the one person who died. But when he said one, you could hear in his voice, he couldn't give the statistic of one death in the day as much importance as he would have liked to have done. So Joe Pardon, there you go. There's an opportunity to have some positive news. What other bits and bobs are in the news at the moment? Really important, I think, that Nicola Adams is confirmed in Strictly Come Dancing as the first same-sex couple. I think that's good news. I personally am not a Strictly fan at all. I find all the glitz and glam of it really makes me almost want to hurl my guts up. But it's popular, and I think, again, it's a really solid, positive move, isn't it, in the right direction regarding diversity and for the LGBTQ plus community. I think it's really good. And other than that, there's not an awful lot of news knocking about. What are you guys up to? What have we popped in? Oh, I tell you what is funny though. I don't know if anyone else is struggling with their broadband and Wi-Fi. And we were talking about solar flares yesterday, weren't we? Solar flares and and how that could impact on our sort of tech, how we could have a tech wipeout. It's funny, we were talking about it last night with Maddie, and she was saying that, yeah, she spoke to a boyfriend who's, you know, studies physics, astrophysics and all that kind of stuff. And he said, yeah, if that happens, it's gonna be bad. Very matter-of-factly. And just bear with me. Bear with me one sec. So it's confirmed that in Western Europe, we have the slowest broadband in Western Europe, which is really odd because, you know, for us, you know, for lots of our work and for lots of our social media and for our channel and everything like that, you know, broadband is critical. And we now have the slowest in Western Europe, which means we're not all going mad. We're not all, you know, impatient. We are actually right to be feeling the frustration. So is it going to make any sense if we move from BT to Virgin? I don't know. We've only been on 5 minutes, whoever just asked that. So how are you guys? Faith Goodman, have you guys seen Dr. John Campbell's video about masks? He says wearing a mask will protect the wearer too. He shows how could masks stop you being able to blow out candles. What do you think of Susan Tully being... Susan Tully's been a director for years. She's been directing, I think she directed Nadia in something, or Nadia's sister in something. She's been directing for years. So it's not a new move, but what's thrown that up? Hit the thumbs up, guys. We're going to be doing a night shift. For those of you who've just come, we're doing a night shift tonight. So this was like a quick touch base. I'm busy today, but I just wanted to make sure that we kind of connected with you, because I know that sometimes when we post things on the community tab, it doesn't always get seen by everyone. And we had sort of mentioned, that we were going to do a night shift tonight. What's this? Why weren't they showing? It's really weird, some of the messages. Did you see John Campbell's vlog on face masks? Also good news, he says they protect the wearer too. This is obviously a new one. I haven't seen it. I'm a little bit sort of, every night I go to bed, Nadia's in bed already listening to John Campbell. There's 3 people in our marriage and John Campbell is the 3rd person. I might have to contact him. And say, do you mind just laying off these posts? Because I'm waking up sometimes in the middle of the night with Nadia's phone cleft between my buttocks because she's fallen off to sleep. And there's John Campbell muttering from my nether regions. It's very odd. Francisca Bastos, Mark, I just arrived. Good to see you. Can't get out of bed today. Oh dear, I hope is that for out of choice, or are you feeling you just can't? That's hard. Have you seen Pelosi not wearing mask? Quasar 1. I did see the story. Was she in a hair salon without a mask on? I think an enormous number of people are just, you know, sort of bending the rules at the edges and things like that, aren't they? I mean, I think the feeling everywhere is that I think hi Elizabeth Gordon, the feeling everywhere I think is that the vast majority of people are at the very edges, you know, hearing the numbers go down, hearing the deaths go down, and not necessarily too concerned. Morning Xander, morning Martin Smith. Mask must have some effect for the wearer. Yeah, you'd think so. Bobby Ward, I love it. Yes, love it that people, not just me, are wearing masks. I also feel so much better that others have to. For me, mask wearing is like a simple act of courtesy to everyone around you. If it protects you too, that's brilliant. I just think it's the most simple thing. I just don't really. Oh, Natasha Tiramos, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you about solar flare talk. It's so astronomical, literally. We can't really worry about it. It's like worrying about the end of the world due to the sun consuming us, isn't it? I mean, okay, we won't be around, but yeah, I mean, you know, a meteorite could strike tomorrow, couldn't it? I've just been out for a walk with Mitzi, our beagle, and got drenched, Stuart G. Oh, right, it's beautiful sunshine here in London. We're in a mini lockdown. I heard about that, Beth T, in Glasgow. Nadia was talking to her friend Kay about that. Yeah, we can't visit each other at home, but can meet up in a cafe, restaurant, pub. Isn't that curious? Isn't that curious? Yeah. Just watching the family in Spain vlogs, Selena Lou Fogg, realise why I love you, because you're all as daft as me, except my family don't like it and aren't like that. I relate to you all so much. There you go, Selena. I did read it. There's a vlog coming up. The completion of Nadia seeing Lisa's chair will be landing later today. Francisca Bastos, just a low day. Ooh, with my anxiety and depression. I'm moving countries in the end of September and it's knocking me out. Oh, I'm not surprised. Bareback Barbarians on the treadmill watching the show, Mark. You're my morning news updater. Well, Bareback Barbarians FC, turn your speed up on your treadmill a little bit for me. The news is a little sparse, and we've got a few bits and bobs about lockdowns in the north. Andy Burnham telling people to ignore lockdown lifting. The Chancellor's considering the many different ways in which he can raise money to compensate for the cost of coronavirus. There's a very moving chat with Robin Williams' widow. There's a new documentary coming out where she talks about the nature of his Alzheimer's and how they had to sleep in separate rooms at the end. We were enormous Robin Williams fans. And it was just tragic the way in which things ended for him. And I think that this new documentary, there was a documentary on HBO recently, but this new documentary I think is going to sort of profile that in more detail. He had what was the type of disease that he had? It was a particular type of Alzheimer's, wasn't it? What was it called? Lewy body dementia. He was a good man. Does anyone, I don't know if anyone remembers, because I used to have a copy of this on VHS and I lent it to someone and they never gave me it back, and I've never forgiven them. Robin Williams doing his live gig at the Metropolitan Opera House in New York. It's one of the greatest things. It's in the 80s. I think it might be online on YouTube, really bad bootleg VHS grainy copy. But I dined out on some of his stand-up for years at college, years. So Robin Williams is in the news a little bit. As I said, there's the good news re-vaccine, re-antibodies, the idea that we hold on to antibodies for longer. I mean, I've got this, is it blind hope? Is it blind optimism? But I've got this feeling we might not have a really terrible winter. This winter is coming fear, like Game of Thrones. Does anyone else feel that? Does anyone else feel Alexander Gibb? Robin Williams was indiscriminately funny, wasn't he? I loved his line about in America, the right to bear arms, or as he said, the right to arm bears. And he did a really funny skit about his cocaine addiction and golf. He said, it was a game designed for the ultimate paranoiac. Get the thing in the hole, what's in the hole, trying to get a tiny ball in a hole. Who invented that? He's very good. He was very good on all sorts of observations about women, about pregnancy, about being prenatal, postnatal, all that kind of stuff. Very, very funny. Very, very funny. So going back to this thing, I've got this feeling, I've got this sort of, I don't know, I'm not usually a cup half full sort of person, but I've got this strange, curious potential optimism that things won't be as bad, that winter is coming and we might have a reasonably nice Christmas. Maybe I'm just hoping for that. Nanny Di's good. She's in and out of dentists at the moment, which is why she hasn't popped around yet. She will be popping around at the weekend. We'll be doing some green-fingered hells. Angela Thompson. God, that's not so unusual. Nadia will be surprised. My positivity has lifted your morning. That's really good. I think I have the same feeling about winter, Francesca Bastos, but I think it's us thinking we're immune to any new disasters in 2020. Yeah. Reese Roberts, you think wishful thinking? Okay. I think winter will be fine and we'll have a good Christmas. I think they actually overestimated it in order to actually prepare people, Xander, and it seems to have been a bit of a fart in a trance. I think there's some truth in that. Are we over prepared and hopefully going to be under challenged, a little bit like under promising and over delivering? So I mean, again, going back to you, Bareback Barbarian, that there really is very little news on the ground. I just wanted to share the what do you think of Ed Sheeran's baby name? Does anyone know what Ed Sheeran's baby's name is? It's quite a remarkable name. It's Lyra Antarctica Seaborn Sheeran, is it? Is that the something like that? Lyra Antarctica Seaborn, or Seaborn Antarctica Sheeran. It's quite a mouthful, isn't it? I mean, obviously they're thinking about seaborne and heading towards the Antarctic. And Lyra, I'm presuming, is Lyra from his Dark Materials. Doesn't his Dark Materials pivot around? No, that pivots around the North Pole. Maybe they've got the wrong poll. Maybe it should be Lyra Arctic Seaborn Sheeran. Oh, I like Lyra. It's like lyrics. Didn't know about all the middle names, though. It's better than Apple. It's a curious one, though, isn't it? I mean, but I guess Lyra is the name that they go by. I suppose you can have fun with middle names. Kiki sometimes says she is pleased and isn't pleased that she had the middle name B. I don't know why. Maddie is always frustrated that she never got a middle name. I was never given a middle name either, and it really used to bug me because my family's sort of historic middle name was Alsager. It was always like somebody Alsager-Adderley, Gordon Alsager-Adderley, Diane Alsager-Adderley, and I didn't get the Alsager. But Antarctica, I thought it was Antarctica Oceania. Kiki B's name does sound like an author's name or a singer's name. Lyra is nice. People don't always use middle names, so it doesn't really matter. I agree. My dear friend Jim, his name was Edward James Hardy, and so I called him Jim because people called him James or abbreviated his middle name. So sometimes people target the middle name, don't they? I sometimes wonder whether Kiki could, in older age, be called B, but I don't think she'll let anyone. I don't think they'll let anyone. Mark, there's a place in Stoke called that. Well, it's funny, Michelle Armstrong, because of course the Adderleys come from Stoke, and we were the Alsager-Adderleys, WAA. That's if you look at the history of pottery, William Alsager-Adderley was a potter. He had the Daisy Bank pottery in Stoke. So presumably there's a connection between the Adderleys and Alsager. So there you go. Why do celebrities, black bareback barbarians, want their children bullied so bad with those ridiculous names? I mean, I suppose putting them in the middle, like someone just said, does mean that they can be ignored. Leo, Maddie could cut out the Addy by calling herself Maddie. I know, it's funny, whenever I see Maddie Adderley written down, it does read like a sort of rock singer's name. Oh, look, there's a headline here which says, Ellen DeGeneres bullying Mariah Carey is ugliest thing I've seen as shows are pulled. Ooh, wow. Footage was reviewed by someone on the channel. Ooh, shows are being pulled. Ooh. There you go. We did talk about Ellen DeGeneres yesterday. Hit the thumbs up, guys, if you're enjoying having a little digest. As I say, some mornings there isn't much news, and I'm just curious to know how on earth Nadia is doing in the other room. So I'm going to head off there in a moment to go and find out. But as I say, tonight there will be a night shift. We don't know what time, but we will place it. We will notify you on the community page and on our Instagram accounts. And until then, let's hope no bad news arises. But until then, have a lovely day and stay safe. And GFH collection plates would be nice. And a vlog will be coming up. Oh yeah, and we're on Loose Women tomorrow, actually, me and Nadia, as guests down the line, talking about our book. And of course, tomorrow night we've got the homeschooling Q&A. So see you later tonight for a night shift. And hit the thumbs up. We love you. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.